This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. You are your greatest asset. It's time you started investing in that. Visit betterhelp.com/double toasted and take care of you. But there were some really cool scenes in there, like just being cranky, man. Doc Ock.
I know, he's so cranky.
Yeah, he's just saying, "This your idea, Peter? You gonna carry everybody in a condominium? Is that your idea?"
Which I was like, you had a mini son in a warehouse apartment. You got no room to talk.
Yeah, exactly. But he was just like, you know what he was like? He was like that he was like that grumpy uncle, man.
Yeah.
Really? This what you're gonna do? Huh? Hey everyone, Double Toasted Live is headed to Florida for 2 back-to-back shows. Gonna be in Miami Thursday, January 20th, and then in Orlando, Friday, January 21st. Get your tickets now by going to x1entertainment.com. Super VIP and VIP tickets available right now. And when you do go to get your tickets, we have a very special discount for you for a limited time only. Type in the code DT2022 when you go to x1entertainment.com and get 15% off your ticket price. Also, check out our new merch store at tpublic.com. We have new merch and new designs available right now with many more on the way. Check them out by clicking the link in the description below. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get into what we've been wanting to talk about for a while. And when I say a while, just a few days. Yeah. People couldn't wait. Mm-hmm. Y'all, you know, we have talked about this Spider-Man, but as y'all said, man, you know what? It's cool to have a review, but damn, can we just get down and dirty with Spider-Man? I mean, there's just so much to talk about this. A review don't even touch the surface.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And believe me, people, there's still some little bitch people out there, some spoiler bitches.
Of course.
Somebody thought they was saying something smart, and I checked, because I went there to see to make sure nobody was spoiling anything, but somebody thought they were being, they thought they being clever. Because they said, Corey, quote, no spoilers. Also, Corey, quote, the heroes have something to do. Got you. I'm like,
oh my God,
really? Really? I was like, wow, you are the biggest spoiler bitch I've ever seen, man. Thought they were really saying something smart. Mm-hmm. Oh, Corey, will you ever quit being stupid?
You played yourself.
Yeah,
that's what you did.
Yeah, played yourself. Spoiler, you're a dumbass. Yes. How about that? Mm-hmm. But for the rest of us out here, everybody, and let's just assume that the whole world has seen Spider-Man right now. Okay. No way home.
According to the box office, they have.
Yeah.
Like at this point, if you're being spoiled, that's your own damn fault.
Ever since I got bit by that spider.
Spoiler.
People forget every once in a while.
I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal.
Hello, Peter.
Oh, shit.
We got visitors from every universe. And
every franchise.
And by that, I mean 2.
Yeah, people. Got Eurotrash Doc Ock over here. All the characters are coming back. I've seen Spider-Man No Way Home. You've seen Spider-Man No Way Home. Y'all have seen Spider-Man No Way Home. You out there have seen Spider-Man No Way Home. If you haven't seen it yet, normally I would say spoiler alert. You know, you don't want to be here right now. But you know what? No, sit your ass down because you should have seen it. You should have seen it 3 times this weekend. So if you haven't, you deserve to be spoiled. You deserve to have this ruined for you. You should have got on, man, my mom was in the hospital. That's your mama's fault. That's her problem. What does that have to do with you?
What does it have to do with you seeing Spider-Man?
Yeah, she in the hospital. She got a bed. Don't worry about it.
With great power must also come great responsibility. Like your responsibility to go see Spider-Man
exactly.
this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Well, man, my mama dying. Well, then her problem's almost done. Go watch this shit. You'll be all right. So if you ain't seen it, then sit your ass down. You know what? We're going to tell you all about it. Plus, it is so glorious. It is so good that words cannot do the movie justice. Except for maybe 1 or 2 things. But we'll talk about that a little bit.
Are you ready to be the villain?
Look, y'all.
By saying any negative thing at all?
Listen.
Misery, misery, misery. That's what you've chosen.
I have, for everybody who has written me, texted me, called me, I have been your hero all weekend. Now I might have to. Oh, you seem to gloss over that part when we were reviewing the movie, and I used words like stupid. I didn't really get a chance to explain what that meant because, well, I didn't want to spoil anything for you. But mostly, I love this movie, man. I saw it twice myself this weekend. And yes, it still holds true. I still love it. Still a full price for me. Well, if you love it so much, Corey, how come you didn't go better than sex? Where's my, you didn't do it. Where's my shit at? Hey, only a few things deserve the shit. Only a few things deserve, especially that better than sex rating. One of the things that I walked away with in this movie that just pleased me the most was probably the most depressing thing in this movie was I love that Peter Parker was just alone in the world.
Sure.
Really, when they say not a friend in the world, Peter Parker living that saying now. Surely you have one friend. Nope. Not at all, man.
Yeah, he can't go to the place where everybody knows your name.
No. It's a beautiful ending. It's
tragic ending. Beautiful and tragic.
It's a tragically beautiful ending. The reason why I loved it so much is because it's doing a lot of things at one time.
Yes.
It's, first of all, it's putting Peter completely alone, not just without friends, but he's got no more Stark, no more tech. It's just him in that ragged ass suit.
Like he sold himself.
That he sold himself. He's putting it back on. He's really down to just that.
Underoos.
It's all been damaged. It's all done. No one can help him out. Got no Stark backup at this point.
Right.
He really is just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm talking about
and just in the neighborhood too.
And I'm talking about when we say in the neighborhood, I'm talking about he's your project ghetto ass Spider-Man. Low rent ass Spider-Man. We back to that dude. Hey, Spider-Man, do a flip. He's back to doing that.
He's literally doing that. Can you give me $1 now, please?
He's out there doing.
I need some warm. He's a hobo. He's hobo Spider-Man now.
He's turning tricks for $1 now.
You're that Spider guy on YouTube, right? Call me Spider-Man. Okay, Spider-Man. Do a flip. Yeah.
He's back to doing that.
It's such a New York thing.
Yeah, no, he'll be busking on the streets. hey, you took my picture. Come back.
He'll be next to the mime on.
Exactly.
The Times Square.
And the naked cowboy.
Out there turning tricks for money, man.
Hey, forget about it.
What I do.
He's gonna be out there next to Fat Spider-Man in Times Square. They're giving you traditional Spider-Man now.
When Spider-Man wins, Peter Parker loses. Thoroughly loses.
Yeah. If you notice in the movie, it even looks like they put him back in that ragged ass apartment that Peter Parker was in.
Is Mr. Dinkovich going to show up in Spider-Man 4? There he is.
There's gonna be some little cracked out daughter here like thirsty for him. It's really taking us back now to all those people that said, I'm tired of this Tony Stark Spider-Man that we got. Well, let's get a Spider-Man where he's doing it on his own. And you got it, man.
Yeah, I mean, it addressed a growing complaint that I had where I was like, he's fun and all, but he's not really Peter Parker or Spider-Man. It's not doing that. And then it was like, well, what about this? I was like, okay, I'll shut up. He did it.
I didn't have an issue with him being so ingrained with the Avengers and Stark. I thought that was refreshing because I know there's that contingent of Spider-Man fans is like we need Uncle Ben brought up every movie and the great power, great responsibility speech is like I don't need that every time. There are literally 6 other Spider-Man films where they do that.
Yeah, no. See, I felt that way too.
Right.
Initially, bringing him into the Avengers and Tony Stark cutting him off. We didn't have to do all that Uncle Ben. It
was refreshing. It was new.
No one wanted to see the Waynes get shot and the pearls hit the floor of the alley. But after a while, I was like, yeah, but you are taking away so much of what makes him actually Spider-Man.
Well,
This movie, I think, gives both camps what they want. And I like that. I thought that was cool.
It does.
Because I tell you, the reason why that didn't bother me is because I thought that, one, he's an actual teenager.
Yes.
And that whole teenager aspect, they caught well with him when he was Peter Parker and when he was Spider-Man. And plus, it was kind of cool. When you're brought into the Marvel Universe, he had this figure to take care of him.
Yeah.
I just always liked the relationship between him and Tony Stark.
Oh, no, me too.
Yeah,
I liked it quite a bit.
Same.
And I just, Tom Holland is my favorite Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Right there with you.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, I just love this character so much, man. And I think because I love this character so much, I'm just happy to see them tear his ass up right now. It's just something really, because what was missing, and that's what we were talking about in the review. What was missing from his, I think the only thing that was missing for me from the Spider-Man that you're talking about, you say, this is not really Spider-Man to me. I said, well, you know what? It is, except that one thing. He has not had real tragedy.
Real
yet.
tragedy. That's what I mean. Like, it didn't need to necessarily be Uncle Ben, but it needed to be that tragic thing that spurred him to be Spider-Man, other than like, oh, cool, I got powers. Oh, cool, I can go do stuff. Oh, cool, a billionaire has taken me under his wing. Oh, cool, I get to hang out with the Avengers. Oh, cool, I'm in space.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, your life is just sweet. What the hell?
Well, I always liked it because I knew that at some point, being a teenager, I said, this is all going to go away. And this is where it did. I mean, that was totally heartbreaking, seeing everything in his life where he knew everyone.
Sure.
Just all of a sudden, just not work, man.
Well, especially when he had these big plans of what he was going to do when he got back home. And it was like,
He was
Like-
he was forced to grow up.
Yeah, he was,
coming of age.
and like that scene next to Happy, where Happy doesn't even know him. I mean, this dude is looking at his dead aunt, and Happy is sitting up there saying, "Did you know her?" He's like, "You mother! Oh yeah, nobody knows me."
Yeah.
Bitch, you know? Oh no, you don't.
You know,
Yeah, just Happy not knowing him, and maybe this whole thought of like, you know, if my aunt was here, she's dead now, but wow, she wouldn't even know me if I came back. Man,
That's true.
You know, it's such a sad thing, man. It broke. And that thing of going back and seeing his friends. And
That was
not knowing
that was
It
great.
was hard.
Yeah, so they did that right, man. I think they did. You know, they brought it around. Again, Marvel knows how to like bring things back to the most important parts of what makes these characters who they are at some point. Maybe not in all movies, but they did it for the most part. And they did it with this. Man, that death of Aunt May was handled so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It surprised me.
Yep.
She didn't even know she was dying.
That's what was so good about it.
Yeah. she's
Well,
like,
I thought too when the building collapsed on her and everything. I was like, and she's like, "Come on, let's go." I'm like, I don't think
You
so.
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
When she talking about, I just need to rest. So I'm
I
like,
see.
don't sit down. 'Cause you ain't getting back up.
yeah.
You might want to keep walking till you get to the hospital. It's like, you sit down. That's it. But she was that's what made it good, man. Because I thought that scene was done better than some death scenes in actual straightforward serious dramas.
Yeah.
Because most times, even in dramas, man, it's played out the same beats. The person collapses to the ground.
Yeah.
The hero picks them up and gently leans them in, and the person says, "Please carry on without me." And they always have that last gasp. I mean, you might get a no afterwards, or maybe
Yeah.
not, but they do this all the time, man. This was handled well. With she didn't know she was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she didn't even have that. She delivered. That's what was so beautiful about this. She delivered that great power, great responsibility speech, but they wrote it and they actually had it delivered by her with the right beats to where it changed.
And she said it correctly.
Oh, what is everybody usually saying?
They say with great power comes great responsibility. It's with great power there must also come great responsibility.
Nerds. I'm just making up and saying it wrong all this time.
There's a difference.
Most people do say it wrong.
No,
yeah.
I know I have been. But it was great the way she delivered that line, man. And the way she just kind of drifted off. Like, it's still not really being aware that she's dead. And,
Sure.
and Peter just crying, man.
That's what made the only person that is aware in that scene that she's dying is Peter. And that's what it's like. Oh, this is I think the first moment in the movie where I got watery eyed. This is what hit me.
That
Well,
scene
Happy
was
knew
done.
when he drove up, he knew something was wrong.
But he didn't know like Peter knew.
Yeah,
I know,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
just looked at him and was like, you know, so.
And that whole thing of Aunt May, please don't, because I mean, he's already lost. He already lost Tony. He's already lost his uncle, and he's just kind of like, I mean, and I like that they didn't. I like they didn't write the lines like, "I've lost everybody. You can't be the one now." They wrote it like it was implied when he was saying, "Please, just don't go, please."
Lost his uncle.
That's what I say. He lost his uncle. I did say his aunt.
But he lost his uncle off screen. Like
Oh, okay.
Uncle
Because I
Ben.
didn't even remember them even mentioning that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that because that his uncle Ben.
Uncle
is dead.
Ben, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming he had an Uncle Ben and he's dead, unless they bring it out later on that maybe he never had an Uncle Ben.
Yeah, I don't know that they ever acknowledged it. Uncle
Yeah,
Ben.
I think
you're
everybody's assumed because they never even told the story because when Tony Stark was like, "What happened?"
Right.
Like, well,
But when the other, when other people are mentioning their Uncle Ben's, he's not like, oh yeah, mine too.
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, so yeah, maybe he never had an Uncle Ben. Which is fine with me.
I'm totally fine. Don't stop bringing that man up just to kill him again. All right, leave him, let him dead or not exist. I'm okay with it.
I don't want this motherfucker to have a box of Uncle Ben's rice in his house. We've seen Uncle Ben so much.
Can I say one more thing in regards to the
yeah,
scene just
please.
before? But
Yeah,
I
go
love
ahead.
it's the Goblin that did it. I love that it's
course.
William Dafoe. He's like, Peter, 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 no good deed goes unpunished. I love that because he's the main villain of the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that.
No, he is, man. Talk about him in a minute. Yeah, he is. Like he about to do a rap battle right now.
Because every other villain, to some level, is like, well, maybe this was my fault.
Yeah.
Him, he's like, nah.
Fuck it. I want it. A whole new world to conquer.
Yeah, man. Speaking of emotions with this, needless to say, this has been a very historic week with Marvel, or for Marvel, just with this movie alone right here. You know, the movie made box office history. Movie also made another bit of history, because this was the week that Marvel revealed a lot of big secrets in the world yelled back, we knew. Yeah, we know.
They revealed the world's worst kept secrets.
Yeah.
All of them, man. One of them being, and listen, it is a worst kept secret, but still everybody was excited when they got that triad of Spider-Mans.
Trio.
I love that, man. You know, this right here was, this had everybody tingling. Everybody knew what was happening. Everybody's senses was going off. Everybody knew, and they were just waiting for it to happen. What was funny to me is that all you fair weather friends out there, man.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody hated Andrew Garfield. He's the real winner here because his image turned around instantly.
Yes,
It
yes,
did.
it did.
Everybody hated Andrew Garfield. It actually made me mad because there was all this Andrew Garfield hate out there. And I actually defended it. I said, I think he's a great Spider-Man. I don't think he's a terrible Peter Parker, but definitely not the best. But everybody like, nah, it's the worst Spider-Man out there. It's bullshit. But the moment he got on screen, everybody's kind of like, oh, man, we go way back, man. Andrew Garfield, man.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Shit, man.
I was telling them about you.
Yeah, man, that's my boy right there, man. Liars! Shut up, all of you liars! But me, I defended you, man.
They did right by him.
Yeah.
They did right by
Gave
him,
him a lot
man.
of great scenes. And they got a little meta with it, too, which I really love.
A little.
Well, the whole thing about it, like, you know, he's like, oh, I'm lame. I thought a mechanical rhinoceros. She's like, you're not lame, dude. No, you're good. You're amazing.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh, it's
Oh,
cute.
yeah.
You know, he has. I think he even got. I think right now he's getting more love than Tobey, man.
Oh.
Tobey Maguire.
I thought he did much better than Tobey did.
Well,
But they had to play it two different ways.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Tobey Maguire had to come in and be the older and just more mature.
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
I know how this shit goes. I've worked it out.
Yeah.
And Andrew Garfield's more of the tragic Spider-Man. Like,
Bitter
yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think he was so much bitter. It's more like he was just kind of beaten down. Like he just accepted, like, this is my life. It has not gone well, but I still fight the good fight.
And I just don't. I'm just doing it now. I just don't. But I this is not as cool as I thought it was going to be. And
One day you wake up and it's a job.
you know, and he has. The thing is, besides Aunt May, he has, to me, one of the most emotional parts in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, look, whatever you say about Amazing Spider-Man 2, because I never really hated the movie. I actually think I defend it sometimes. I realize the faults that it has. But ain't nobody going to sit up here and tell me that Gwen Stacy death, that you just completely blew that off. That's one of the
No,
best
the whole
death scenes.
theater went, ooh.
Ooh, yeah, man. That's one of the best death scenes in the Spider-Man series, all of them. Oof. Be funny like, shit. Out of here. Yeah,
Just
man.
miscalculated.
Yep.
And you know, that whole scene of him just, I mean, the heartbreak that he had knowing he couldn't catch it, man. That right there is one of the best scenes in all the Spider-Man series. Now, it might not be one of the, best movies, but I think it's a cool scene.
Sure.
That's why we even said that when we were talking about the trailer. We said, you know what? I have a feeling that scene where MJ's falling, he's gonna catch him, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't even read any kind of leaks or anything. I just thought, all right, that's a great possibility right there. And it did happen, but no matter how much you predicted it, man, it did not. It prepared you for how that scene played out. I mean, just the tears on him, because he hardly said anything. I like when it moved me so much when he asked MJ, after saving her, he says, "You all right?" She's like, "God damn, you all right?"
Yeah. He cries through about half his scenes.
Yes, he does.
I was like, man, I feel sorry for you, but you got to stop crying.
But,
we
man,
got to fight here.
It was called that. It was deserved right there.
Yeah.
Like those tears just said it all.
Yeah.
Because he didn't explain to her.
Right.
There was no big exposition.
Right.
He just said, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm all right." Just drops it.
Why couldn't I do this for Gwen? You just remind me of my failure.
It'd be funny if she was like, "You're like, are you all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm all right, Gwen."
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Jesus, I'm sorry. You don't understand. I'm just sorry.
I'm just so lonely. I'm so sad all the time.
But on a lighter note, man, I just thought that those guys, they did a good job. All the Spider-Man, the Peter Parkers working together.
Well, for me, that was the highlight of the movie. The three of them working together, talking through the differences between themselves, and just the whole thing of like when they were like, "Man, we are not used to working as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to working solo."
Wow.
And it took Tom Holland to go like, "I've worked on a team. Let me show you how it's done."
Yeah, you had both these guys who are older than him. Like they're like his uncles, man.
Yeah.
And they come in and he's like, "Yeah, guys, you're used to working alone, but shit, look, I had to work with a bunch of superpowered, egotistical people.
Right?
I was on the Avengers.
Yeah.
What's that?
They're superpowered assholes, and we've all had to
Every
work
one of
together."
them thought they were better than me. Even
Yeah.
Ant-Man.
Well, Tobey comes in, man. I love that he comes in as plain clothes,
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, like the church
I ain't doing
pastor
this shit.
Yeah, the church pastor.
Yeah. Well, you like going to look like dressed like a cool youth pastor.
And I love that they caught him on it.
Hey, all right.
He's like, I got underneath here. All right.
I
got it,
feel the
bitch.
need
I
to
got
parade
it.
around in my pajamas like
shut
the
up,
rest of
yeah.
you.
I was at home with my fucking wife when this happened. I do like he came in. He said, "Hey, you know what? Whatever was going on in my life, it worked out." They didn't go into an explanation like he married her.
No,
He's like,
I'm
"Look,
saying like it's complicated, but for the most part, things are working out.
things. Yeah, I love that, man. Tom Holland's the teenager, the one that he has a lot to learn, but he every now and then, listen to the mouth of his babes for some advice. Andrew Garfield came in kind of as the cool big brother, and I love they just said, "Tobey, sorry, man, you the old man."
Yeah.
He came in with his back hurting and everything. He said, "Can you crack
My
and for a lot
back.
of people, that was the love scene of the movie.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, when he gently wrapping his arms around him and cracking his back. I love that whole discussion.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
kind of like, "Yeah, my back is hurting." Like, "You want to crack it for you?" Like, because at first you thought he was gonna be like, "No, I'm good, man." He's like, "No, can you?"
I'm an old man.
Yeah.
Help me.
And I like they both admitted, like, "Hey, man, I got back problems from swinging all day. It's not
Sure.
it is even on a superpowered body. It is not easy."
And you think about it, like they don't have the Avengers, so who could do that for them other than
That's
another
right.
self?
That's right. Yeah, I love that, man.
They had a lot of little fan servicey conversations, like, who did you fight? Or it's like, wait, your webs comes out of you?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Well, that was what I love, man, because they
was
they
funny.
all said it. Like, I would love to have I wish I had brothers.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield said
Yeah,
it's
that.
good
He was
scene.
like, "You know what? Wow, man, I wish I had brothers." And then, that was kind of him saying, like, "Wow, guys, we are kind of like, whether we just met, but we are brothers in spider powers over here." And I thought it was cool that they had these discussions, like you said, because it could have gone much differently, man. Because they had that discussion about, wow, you shoot webs out your wrist, you shoot them anywhere else, and wow, what hero did you fight? And man, you can do this. And really, when you look at it, it's like, okay, this could have easily just gone off like a cheap Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we've seen this done poorly so many times. The
Yeah.
Super Bowl commercials are a great analogy.
Yeah,
to throw in
they
there.
could have been selling Doritos or Budweiser badly right here, but
and they could have gone on too long with it.
Yeah,
and they
they
didn't.
didn't.
Matter of fact, they left me wanting more.
these guys are just good together. I want to see a Spider-Man movie again with
I
them.
know.
They're going to do that.
They have to.
They're
think
not
so?
going. They're not going to do this as a one-off. This is a cultural phenomenon right now. It's the third highest grossing opening ever. So they'll bring them all back. They'll
Yeah,
do that.
they have to, man. They
It's
have
all
to
about
bring
money.
Yeah, exactly.
How much you want?
That's why I wonder, as much as I want to cry for somebody like Aunt May, is she really gonna stay dead? You know, is there going to be a way for him to go back and do another spell to turn things around?
I think
Jesus, please don't.
I think she'll be dead, but I would not be surprised if, you know, and this maybe they'll play the long game where, okay, Peter, you get you one little award or your reward, and where Ned and MJ will remember him, but it's years later.
Oh.
But he has to suffer. He has to suffer
yeah.
for several films before he
Hard
gets there.
knocks over here for this kid.
Yeah, yeah. But I think Aunt May is dead.
If you see that bitch Ben, you tell him.
Wait, Ben, who's Ben?
Who's Ben? I mean, tell me. No!
Yeah, somewhere he's got an Uncle Ben out there. They just got divorced.
Who is Ben?
He's a bum.
I mean, maybe when they come back, Tom Holland won't be a teenager anymore.
Well, I think they're going to go through...
College years.
yeah, they're going to go... There's 3 trilogies. High school, college, and then being an adult. That's what they're planning. So, we're going to be 70 years old watching this kid grow up.
Hell yeah.
Just like the Harry Potter kid.
Exactly. Is that you, Ben? You haven't been around here in a while to see me. We're going to be 80-something years old. Do a flip, Spider-Man. Yeah. Where you been, boy? Why your face all messed up? You been getting in the fights again. But, man, this is something where they made history with another thing. You know, we saw the creation of a new big Marvel trivia question. What week did the Netflix Marvel heroes enter the Marvel universe proper? Because this weekend, we talked about this. I said, I told Martin last week, I said, you know what? I have a feeling that they're going to introduce Kingpin on Hawkeye.
Well, that's the guy I've been worried about this whole time. Kingpin.
And I said, wouldn't it be crazy if Matt Murdock happened to show up the same week and they coordinated that way? And
Yeah,
Martin
they planned that.
And Martin looked at me and said, man, that's stupid. Stop being dumb. I went and, sucked back my tears.
Okay.
I said, we'll see. But lo and behold, bam, Matt Murdock, man, showed up.
As his lawyer.
As his lawyer.
Makes sense.
And I thought it was a brilliant introduction. I like the way that they showed his powers when he caught that rock coming through the window.
Brick.
Yeah, they just showed his powers just enough to say, all right, more is coming. But
How'd you do that? I'm a very good lawyer.
Love that line.
I love that line.
That was
too,
really
man.
clever.
But I'm looking at this. So the rumors ended up being true, as we all knew. But now that they have all the heroes entering, and we had a discussion already about what do we think? Where do we think this will go? Like, okay, let me ask you again. After seeing both these, and please chime in, everybody.
Yeah.
After seeing both these introductions, where do we go from here now?
Well, okay, we'll have Matt Murdock show up on the She-Hulk show.
Yep, right there with
That's
you,
what I was
100%.
thinking. Yep.
And, I had not seen that. And possibly as Daredevil before the show is done with a redesigned costume.
Okay. What are you thinking?
I think he nailed that. Yes, I do think that definitely Daredevil will show up on She-Hulk. I wouldn't be surprised if at the next Spider-Man films, I mean, the fact that they brought in Matt Murdock here, I mean, Matt Murdock and Spider-Man, they go hand in hand in so many films, especially during the 70s and 80s era, where he was in college.
True.
And so we can get a more grounded Spider-Man if that's what they're kind of going towards.
So you're saying we have like
see
more of a street level Spider-Man full of
Because I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, also, if you read through the Spider-Man comics from beginning to end, there is a cycle of Spider-Man always finding a father figure. And we've had Tony Stark and everybody else that's come along, and Matt Murdock could easily fit into that surrogate father figure.
That's a great. I love that idea.
I would love that too.
And the enemy that they fight maybe across the trilogy, or at least if one film, is Kingpin. Because I want Spider-Man Kingpin to go at each other. I would love that.
Because Kingpin started out as a Spider-Man villain.
That's right.
The villains, man. Overall, I think they handled the villains fine. I like the way they are. But when I say now we get into some things that are kind of rocky for me, man. And here's where if you want a perfect Spider-Man and you want nobody talking about your No Way Home, that's an insult to you. You take it personal, then you might not want to listen to these parts right here because I'm going to bring up some things, and I think I'm completely justified in saying that they don't make sense, really.
Yes. Yeah,
Here's some plot holes.
There's one I just thought of where I was like, oh no, why didn't I think of that before?
Well, if it's what you think it is, I'll bring it up in a minute because I thought about it, and when I said silly and not making sense, it was this, and I just thought, and I had to do some research to find out if I was right, because there was a line in here where I said, well, that don't make any sense, and I still didn't know if I thought maybe I'm nitpicking.
Okay. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I just thought about it. I was like, wait a minute.
No, if it is what I think it is, because I thought about this as I was watching the movie, and I said, I ain't gonna say nothing, because nobody wants to hear it right now. But first of all, I still think it's kind of stupid. Peter Parker bringing everybody home for a sleepover, all the villains.
Yeah.
That just didn't make sense to me. You mean you're gonna put your aunt and everybody in jeopardy in this unpredictable environment when you bringing all these villains to the house?
To be fair, she guilted him about that. She was the one thing he said, okay, I'm ready to send him home. She's like, you don't do this. We don't do this. We help people. So that she takes the blame too.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But it is like, well, out of these 4, only 2 of them are scientists.
Yeah.
I don't need all 4 of these criminals, these dangerous homicidal maniacs.
But the donut stealing hobo who wears green seems nice. He seemed really nice. There's nothing wrong with him. He had a nice conversation with May, and she's like, no, we're gonna help this man. I mean, I'm going to push back a little bit on that thing. Bring them all over.
I get the donut stealing homeless guy because he came to the homeless shelter. He's not in their home. Kept his ass out there on the streets, but then they bring him in. I get it. Some people, they're fine with it. I don't like it. There's too many plot holes there. You brought a guy made of sand in there who could do anything. You're not going to contain him. It just seemed irresponsible. It didn't make sense. And I know Peter Parker is a smart guy, but that's a silly written scene for me right there.
Well,
I'm not talking about characters. Again, these characters can do anything. They're not real. But I'm talking about writing. I thought that was kind of a shortcut.
Was it not her idea to bring him to Happy's apartment?
It was not her idea.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
But it fits in my whole problem with the first hour of this movie, where everything just, if they want it to happen, it just happens. Everything, it happens so easily. You think it goes. We want to make something, we just make it. We need somebody over here. Nobody objects. We're instantly transported. And this is one of those where we want to cure everybody, so everybody just goes along, and there's no really thinking it out.
And somebody in the chat said, "You're gonna bring home an electric dude too, who could probably go through all your wires." And I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And I think even Spider-Man was smart enough for that. But like I said, that's me because it didn't bother you. So that
didn't bother me. And I thought what they did with them there, the conversations these characters had, that was really good. Like I love Peter's interaction with Norman.
Yeah.
And then talking about, hey, do you want to, if you want, get you a job at Oscorp, you don't mind going between dimensions. Like I really like that.
Sure.
No,
sure.
And
the machine, yes, you had the 3D printing machine, which is ridiculous, but I like the stuff around the machine.
Well, that's the thing that I like. I mean, I don't like the situation. I thought it was kind of it's too goofy, man. It's too ridiculous. But they wanted to get all these villains in one room together.
Of course.
They wanted them all to interact. They wanted to keep them together so we could get as much out of them as we can. Fine. But there were some really cool scenes in there. Yeah. Like just being cranky, man. Doc Ock.
Yeah, he's so cranky.
Yeah, he's just saying, "This your idea, Peter? You gonna carry everybody in a condominium? Is that your idea?"
Which I was like, you had a mini son in a warehouse apartment. You got no room to talk.
Yeah, exactly. But he was just like, you know what he was like? He was like that he was like that grumpy uncle, man.
Yeah.
Really? This what you're gonna do? Huh? And then this is where we're gonna get into like some of the plot holes here. Because really, I have a problem with such a narrative tool that they're doing here that I think has been a problem with the Marvel Universe overall ever since they introduced it. But so I'm gonna bring up some major plot holes that I saw at the theater, and then one I told you, we talked about this. I wrote notes about it. I said, this is my notes right here, but I wasn't sure. I said, maybe I'm not nerdy enough or deep enough. Or I haven't read these comic books enough to know if this is right. But I don't remember the movies enough to know if this is right. Mm-hmm. But so there's a part in here, and I don't know, I think it's starting to come out now, but this I did notice in the movie. So there's a part where they turn Jamie Foxx, or Electro, back to whatever his name is.
Maxwell,
yeah.
Max Dillon.
And Jamie Foxx as Max Dillon says, you know, I saw you flying around or swinging around Queens. I thought you'd be black. And the movie, I said, well, shit, if you don't know he's white, then you ain't seen him before.
Yeah.
Right, because the spell was it's
you're
only
right.
bringing back people who knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
True.
Yeah.
And so that means that you didn't know he was Peter Parker.
So
you
how
shouldn't
does
be
the spell work?
Because I thought about it with the post-credits with Venom. I was just like, that makes no sense. Because he's never even interacted with him. What would bring him to our
What
world?
would bring? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so both of
well,
them.
they actually show something where that stinger, where it's Venom. You know, I know you don't like it, but when Venom is looking at that in that stinger, he sees Peter Parker on TV. Then he knows who Peter Parker is.
But that's only when he's transported to that world. Then he sees that TV.
Yeah.
So it still doesn't
Oh,
make any
is it?
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it happens and he's transported, and then the symbiote's like, hey, let's f that kid.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
Yeah. Let's fuck. I mean,
He looks delicious. Okay.
So yeah, this part I tried to wrap my brain around it, man. Before I open my mouth,
Yeah.
I said let me make sure, and I thought about it. I looked it up. He never saw Peter Parker as Peter Parker in those movies.
Yeah.
He didn't know him. This whole thing with the spell is supposed to be specifically about villains who knew that he was Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So and I even tried to make an excuse. I said, well, maybe this is the one that slipped where he was just looking for Spider-Man. But if he's saying, I thought you were black, then he knew nothing.
He knew
Yeah.
nothing, yes.
So that makes no sense, and I've been trying.
Yes.
He
No,
couldn't
that's a
know
plot hole.
of Spider-Man,
Ex-
but not know who he
ex-
was.
exactly.
Never saw him without his.
You never saw him without his mask.
Never saw him,
Okay,
yeah.
so he knew who Spider-Man that he
He
existed.
knew Spider-Man because he fought
Yeah, he
Spider-Man.
fought. But he didn't know Spider-Man was Peter Parker. And the spell's all about villains who know
Oh,
Spider-Man
you're
is
right.
Peter
You're
Parker.
absolutely right.
When they bring in Green Goblin.
This is what I noticed.
Yeah,
Right
so
in the theater.
this is where I said I don't know about this.
Henry Osborn.
Henry Osborn, when they bring him in, and they meet for the first time, and Doc Ock is like, Norman or Osborn? I was like, well, okay, so y'all tell me, did they ever meet?
No,
They knew of each other.
They knew of each other.
okay.
But here's the thing. When they're on the bridge, when Peter is disabled Doc Ock's arms, we see the goblin come through, and then Doc Ock looks up and goes, Osborn? And then he does the whole thing when they're in the prison where he explains to Peter, Osborn, he got greedy and he turned into the Green Goblin. But as we know, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man kept that a secret. No one knew that Norman Osborn was the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So that's the plot hole that I was like, okay, that's not right.
I-
no one knew Norman Osborn was the
I
Goblin.
thought about that. I thought about that, but I was like, that could be explained that at some point it came out.
Yeah,
They didn't
that his
say it.
technology was out there. He knew.
Yeah.
He is a scientist.
Yeah, he's
so that's
a
why I
scientist.
said I
I
don't
was
know. I don't know for sure. I just thought, they sounded like they were colleagues or something.
No, they knew each other beforehand. That I buy
Yeah.
and everything, and that also explains why Octavius is working for Oscorp when Harry's in control of it. Like, that's fine. I know that they knew each other, but the whole thing is no one knows that Norman Osborn's the Green Goblin,
Right.
Except Peter Parker.
I
Spider-Man.
see when he throws
That's
the
what I'm
bomb
saying.
down. Okay, so yeah, that's a weird one right there, man. This is where we start getting the plot holes. This is the reason why I couldn't go and give Endgame a better than sex, because all that time travel stuff it's full of plot holes, man. And that's where I think this is kind of a problem for me with the Marvel universe. I'm not impressed with how magic is being handled in the Marvel universe.
It's super convenient.
Yeah,
That's the problem with magic for me in the Marvel universe, man. It's quick solutions. It's done fast, it's handled loosely, and it's a quick fix for when you need something, man. And for me, and I've had this problem ever since Doctor Strange, the first movie came out, because my thing was, this man went to Tibet and just got homeless and went to an alley, and all of a sudden he's the Sorcerer Supreme, and I was like, all right.
Well, not anymore. They do say he's not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore.
Yeah, well, he's still number 2, and I was like, all right. And his number 1, that guy's been in the game for a long time.
Oh, I know.
This dude hurt his hands, and all of a sudden he become the best sorcerer in the world. I was like, all right, I know we got to speed that along. I'm cool with that, but now magic has just been it's been handled real loose.
Well, and when I talk about the convenience of it, like when he pulls Spider-Man out of his body, but somehow he can't get that cube from his physical body, I was like, I guess I'm supposed to go with this and go, it's his spider reflexes, but still, you got magic. You're the next Sorcerer Supreme. You could take that from him. It's just that it's convenient to the story to have him not be able to do that.
And it's a funny bit.
It's a
Yeah.
funny, yeah. Well, that's the thing. So often with Marvel movies, and this first hour of this is super guilty of this, is that it'll sacrifice logic for a joke. And you laugh at the time and don't think about it, But when you have a second, you go like, well, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Or maybe even the first time you go like, that was funny, but something about that doesn't ring true.
Yeah, I know somebody says spider sense, but I think magic trumps spider sense.
Yeah, I would think so.
Except it wasn't convenient at the time.
Math beats magic, as we learn in the movie.
Spider sense isn't really math though.
And-
No. But no, we see like when they're in the dimension, this
Sure.
weird dimension, his math beats his magic. I thought was funny.
No, that was actually pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's
it
what I'm
was.
referencing.
It was.
Yeah, and plus Doctor Strange, I still think they just did it for the movie. He gave him that spell way too easy.
Way too easily. Yeah. To put it on him, like you didn't ask. It's like you didn't ask.
Yeah, that's what I was
You're
thinking. You
the
should've told
adult
him.
here, and you know how dangerous
Yeah,
all this
Should have
is.
had a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
The big thing of like, man, my secret's exposed. What's going to happen? And when it all came down, it's like, well, you just won't get into college into your choice college.
Right.
And I was like, like a whole big build up for this to not be that much.
Yeah. Or are you talking about from like him being discovered and
Yeah.
Again, that did not bother me. It wasn't. I didn't expect the movie anyway to be about, oh, this is going to be Peter on the run, a mystery about how to get it back. There was so many bigger themes here for me. Again, like the loss, especially when we get to the end. and
Well,
he has nothing.
all that stuff later, sure, but
Yeah.
the setup didn't warrant where we got to go. It just seemed like we just got to knock these things out so we can get to what we want, as opposed to really taking care to make this compelling.
I get where some people are. I guess, it depends on what your expectations are. 'Cause like I said, if you take them as dumb kids, that's fine. If you look like y'all should know better than this.
Well, it wasn't so much y'all should know, but I mean, I feel like the writers themselves should know better than this. Just good storytelling is to set something up to where there's pressure to do this extreme thing, and it didn't feel like the pressure added up to the extreme thing they were asking they wanted to do, that they were trying to get going.
See, now that's how I feel about the scenes in Spider-Man 3 where they don't explain his powers and he's jazz playing piano and shit.
Okay.
Now that's where it's weird. This is where you and I exchange.
It's a agree disagree kind of moment.
Yeah, exactly. Because that stuff, like with him being saved by the lawyer, like all that stuff happened behind the scenes. It's like we don't need to see him going to court. We don't need to see him being defended.
Oh no, I don't need him going to court, but I do. If Matt Murdock is coming in like, listen, this is serious, and I'm gonna do the best I can, but I don't know. To where that feeling of like, we might end up going to jail. That's the kind of thing where you go desperate, like, I gotta pull a Hail Mary. I gotta ask the Sorcerer Supreme to help me out.
Yeah, no, that I can see. Like because that whole thing, no, I see what you're saying by going over there and saying, I need to get into college.
Yeah.
It's like, no, if it had been like, man, they're about to take my family to jail.
Take my
'Cause they
family
said
to
it-
and my friends, and I'm desperate. I don't know what else to do.
Because they set it up for that, man.
Right, they got it all set up for that, and then just dropped it just to like, well, MIT won't let me in. It's like, okay.
No, I completely agree that they set it up to where it's like, hey, look, they were interrogating the whole family, and it had been something, all his friends, and it had been something like, and they already said, Happy, you still under investigation.
Right.
So all y'all are not off the hook. If he had, I think that would have been better. I think that's another thing where they slipped up with the writing, like with the plot hole on not figuring out what to do with Electro. Mm-hmm. If he go on and say, yeah, man, they're about to take my whole family to jail.
Yeah.
And my friends are not they're gonna take them to jail. They're gonna take their parents to jail. Like, you got to help me out with something. Even then, Doctor Strange would have been like, all right, Peter, I don't want to see you be like some juvenile delinquent or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Help save the world.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
It's a better idea, definitely.
No, it is a better
They just
idea.
moved it to a different spot. Would have been perfect. What would have been better?
Writing or storytelling wise isn't so great, but the interactions make up for it. You
Yeah.
get excited about that. It's
great.
So it covers up for a lot. Because I was like, all right, well, okay, Dr. Octopus, yeah, that chip, maybe if you can fix that. But Norman Osborn's crazy. You're not a psychiatrist. How are you going to fix him?
No, there's no way.
But the thing with Norman is that they see him scared the entire time. They don't know about his goblin persona at all. If
Right.
anything, they think he's he'd be the easiest one to handle. He's fine.
Sure.
It's like he's not psychotic. The only one who's telling him that guy is out of his goddamn mind is Doc Ock, and no one trusts him because he destroyed a highway. And so it's like, no, Norman is great, and I love that May because she's the one that guilts Peter into bringing them there.
No, and
because she
she's-
likes Norman.
And she likes to help homeless people.
Right, right.
And this homeless guy comes in and says, I
Stealing
need help.
donuts. The worst thing he does is steal donuts.
And nobody knows how dangerous this guy is, which is what I think
Yes.
was brilliant about him, because you're right. They think he's, God damn it, what the hell? Sorry, y'all.
Turn the key on.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what did you do?
Oh shit! All right, there we go.
We're pixelating.
All right, there we go. I pressed the wrong button. No, man, that is. I love that they want to help him out because he seemed the most innocent out of
Yes.
all of them. He seemed the least
Dangerous.
dangerous. And he ends up being the most dangerous out of all of them
Yes.
because they can't fix this guy. No.
Yeah.
And
Fix
but
me,
by
I'll
the time,
fix you.
But by the by the time Peter's in, though, Peter's like, well, shit, I'm in too deep now.
Yeah.
And plus, fuck, my aunt had to go, and that was her last wish. Go help this guy. Like, god damn it.
I love how Sandman, he's just going along to get along. Like, are we against him? Are we for him? I
He don't know what to do. Yeah. But I like Willem Dafoe. First of all,
He's amazing.
Willem Dafoe, they showed what I always thought.
Yep.
He don't need no mask.
Yep.
No, he doesn't.
No,
No.
he don't
Yeah,
need to be. He don't even need to be painted green.
Not at all.
Just get this motherfucker a glider and a hoodie and let him go.
With that scene right there, it seemed like they knew that. They were like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
one of the things we got to fix is you press that mask down and smash it. Enough of the dumb
He broke that mask. Yeah, exactly. You ain't got to just get that fool a purple wrap hoodie.
He's wearing a hoodie, exactly.
Yeah, and I love that he's wearing the green hoodie that the Green Goblin wears.
The purple hoodie, and everything.
No, him and Alfred Molina, they gave it their all.
There's a thing in the trailers which you guys don't see, but it's the big review. I love that where Peter's sense is going off, and it's like, I'm going to room full of villains, and I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
And I love that Goblin is just
Yeah.
like, ooh, that's spider sense of you.
No, that was a well put scene because he was just quiet.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
y'all shut.
I was like, Peter, shut up.
Yeah.
And there's a fight scene between Dafoe and Holland in the hallway, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
throng each other around. I thought that was great. I thought that was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, no, that was good.
And he's punching him, and he's like, doing that laugh. I was like, yes! You ain't shit!
It's cool because they did make you feel bad for this guy even after he killed Aunt May. They did it's almost like making a statement about mental illness.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this guy cannot be blamed for what he did, and they did a good job after he did something like kill somebody. Like, oh, what did I do?
What have I done?
What have I done, Peter? Like, you
Yeah,
killed
but
my
you're always
fucking
looking
aunt.
at him like, are you faking?
Yeah. You don't know. You don't know with him at all.
Yeah.
No, you don't know.
Was he
And I-
faking there?
And I think that's the setup for if he wants to come back at some point.
Oh, yeah, they'll do it. They'll bring him back.
But I did think, man, he was a villain up until he was
To
in
the
it.
very end.
He was a villain.
I
when
love
they-
this part.
Man, he was a villain when they were trying to help. He's like stealing donuts the whole time.
I know.
And looking too.
You're a billionaire. It's like mine.
Well, that's what I was like. Even his good personality is a thief.
Yeah,
Well, he was hungry. We would all done it.
You could have just ate him right there.
They were free anyway, man.
You can't help it. That was the Goblin personality coming out, and they just weren't aware of it.
Yes.
They didn't know
Yeah,
that.
like, he really thinks we can't see him,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
They had a goddamn donut goblin back there.
So I had another thought. If Doctor Strange tells them that when they go back to their universe, they're going to die, because they did in their universes, then why bother to try to cure them? Are they still going to die?
Well, the
They're
idea
changing
is,
fate.
is that they'll go back and because they were in the commission of trying to kill Spider-Man at the time they died,
Oh, okay.
so they go back and they're like, "Hey, I'm cured. I'm not gonna mess with you."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Changes everything.
Yeah.
Because we don't know
exactly.
where they're going to go back and all that. So,
And they're not going to cause as much collateral damage either. They're not going to try to fight Spider-Man. They're going to be evil, and then other people will be saved too.
And Dr. Octopus, his whole thing was, "I want the power of the sun in the palm of my hand," and he gets an arc reactor, which is what that is. Like,
Yeah.
ooh.
This is not a nitpick or something that's wrong with the movie. I was just wondering. I didn't know. Is Thomas Hayden Church actually in the movie? Is he doing a voice?
I believe it's him, isn't it?
Because the reason why I asked, because he was Sand most of the movie.
He was for most of the movie.
Cover up the aging.
just voiceover.
Is that what
Same
it
with
is?
Reeves
Yeah.
fans, all voice, except for the end.
except for the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that shot looks like something from Spider-Man 3 when he's melting. It looks like they reversed it. Because I was like, are they using archive footage here? They're just kind of changing it? I'm not sure. It reminded me of this one shot when he's melting Spider-Man 3. Like, he makes the same exact expression.
Yeah.
But, I mean, again,
And I know people saying
His hair was more slick
Yeah.
here.
Well, some people say it looked like him, but they can. I mean,
that's
we,
true.
look, we got those deep fakes
Those
that
deep
can
fakes,
fool anybody
yeah.
now. Shit, people do that as a joke now, and they look just like these people. So I didn't know if they were using some deep fake technology to
Well,
come in.
do you need to deep fake Thomas Hayden Church is like, look, here's a check. Just show up.
And somebody said no. Well, I don't know. Somebody in the chat said this. Said no. They use archive footage.
So that is the scene when he probably used Meltdown.
That's probably the scene when he's yeah. So they used some old footage and just put it in there.
Probably the same for Reza Fons as Lizard. I mean, they're doing their voices
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
From Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
So that's why he was saying so they didn't have to see, and with the Lizard too. So you didn't have to see the Reese Ifans and Thomas Hayden Church how much they aged over time.
Yeah.
Again, they're the bench warmers.
That's true.
you're here.
Especially the Lizard.
Yeah.
You know, like, all right, dude,
Yeah.
I guess you're here. We're going to lock you in the truck for a while.
Like they call him the dinosaur too.
Is that a
Yeah.
Dinosaur man.
He can talk?
He just sit up there quiet the whole time. End credits. Depending on what you think about Venom, probably depends on what you think about the end credits. I don't like Venom 2, but I didn't mind the end
Fucking
credits.
sucks.
I thought it was dumb.
I didn't mind it.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, they got to figure out something. And this is what I liked about it because really the reason why I like this, I didn't mind it too much. It's some quick, whatever. But Marvel, I was telling you this, Marvel pulled a flex on Sony, man.
I feel like it's Sony flexing on Marvel because
Nah.
toward the end they just kept putting the Sony logo, Sony,
Yeah.
and we got our guy in there.
Well, let me tell you what happened. So they said, all right, you know what? Don't say we didn't do nothing for you. They brought Venom in and kicked his ass right back out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they said, so you know what? You and take your Venom with you. So now they can
Except
use
for that little piece.
Yeah.
well, that little piece, but that will be used for their version of Venom. You know, that would be for them doing what they want to do. That's them saying, take your ragged ass Venom and get the fuck out of here. This is going to be our Venom now. So, yeah, you know, this whole thing where everybody thought that, like, we're going to bring in, what's his name that plays Eddie?
Oh, Tom Hardy.
When they thought that everybody's going to bring in Tom Hardy. When they thought they were going to bring in, you know, old comical gay-ass Venom. You're like, nah. It's like, nah, that's a different thing. They can have it. There, we did our thing. We shook hands and parted ways. So what will happen next with these characters? There's one theory that Ned is going to be the Hobgoblin or will be a villain at some point.
I love how they addressed that though in the movie.
Yeah.
I swear to you, I will
yeah.
not betray you and turn into
They
a
said,
supervillain.
you know, he said that, I was like, all right, well, you know, because it makes sense. Peter's not around. Ned and MJ are still friends. He might start liking MJ, and then this asshole Peter guy's coming around, just ruining everything. I mean, and maybe he's not a Hobgoblin, but maybe it'll cause some friction between those two, to where they were friends and now they're not. Whether he's a villainous enemy or just a frenemy or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Or maybe not. You can't really tell.
I mean, yeah, Ned Leeds is Hobgoblin in the comics, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So I mean, you know, who knows, man? I think if he's that in the comics, there's a good chance they could set it up in the
Sure.
in the-
I love Hobgoblin. I'm just figuring. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I think,
Which is cool.
I think something's going to happen. They set that line up too much when
Yeah.
Ned is going to
For sure.
screw him over one way or another. They set it up too much for that.
Yeah.
Want to see more what they can do with these Netflix characters, man. I mean, you know, being that Kingpin is such a Spider-Man villain.
Started out as one.
Yeah, exactly. I think now we can have some of these interactions with some, like the people that Spider-Man, we want to see him really fight.
Well, as Martin said before, you know, being a more street level hero now, having I think Daredevil as a mentor figure, someone that Peter can relate to, and form like a new relationship with. I think that's a great idea, and have it where it's like Daredevil's like, okay, there's someone you got to know about,
Right.
And that's
right.
Kingpin.
Yeah, you running around here, you breaking up all these different organizations and these syndicates. This is the guy you're going to end up facing.
And we know that Kingpin has apparently a lot more influence now than he ever did in Netflix shows. He's hiring, you know, other like
He's hiring-
assassins
he's hiring
and things.
super assassins,
And so he'll hire Spider-Man villains to kill Spider-Man. I mean, maybe he can be like the overarching threat for a trilogy or something.
And I want to see Punisher come in at some point. I always say that, but Punisher was an original Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, would love to see if they could set that up. I know that there's conflicting ideas. We always said about the Netflix characters, because the Netflix characters, I said I don't want to see them be the same versions of as they are
Sure.
Netflix. He says he
I want them to be the same versions. There's no reason. There's nothing that's other than you have some people that played characters in different movies. But who cares? Yes, I know Mahershala Ali played Cottonmouth, but
Well, he died.
that was he's dead. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I have no problem with that because I think that's wasting a lot of history. And take the stuff that works and ignore the stuff that doesn't.
Which is what they do.
Yep.
I do that anyway. It's like I said, oh, you Negroes look alike anyway. Ain't nobody gonna know the difference. No, that ain't Cottonmouth.
As long as Luke Cage never has to fight Blade, everything's cool.
Yeah.
Man, you the racist one. You think they look alike? Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts.